Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to be doing a Disney debate, which is going to be should Disney stop doing so many live action remakes? So we've got Emily who agrees and Ellie and Grace who disagree. Um, so what do you guys think? Leave us a comment down below and make sure you guys like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell and let the battle commence. Whoever's starting.
Okay. So the first thing I just want to say, I think no, they shouldn't stop making remakes. I think what they should stop is making crappy live action remakes. And because I think the main problem is that they are remaking the wrong films where the originals, like the original films, were already a perfect masterpiece, such as The Lion King or Pinocchio. They didn't need a remake. But I think the best way, if they are gonna do remakes, I think they should remake only on like films that have low ratings, low audience interest, or that if they were a huge flop in the past. So, for example, if Disney were ever gonna do a remake of The Sword and the Stone or The Black Cauldron, I would say I agree because I think during that time, the Black Cauldron, they say it was going to be the end of the Disney company, and it wasn't, thankfully. But or The Sword of the Stone, it had a few it has a lost narrative, it had a lack of character development, and it didn't really had a bad villain. So if they were gonna do remakes on them, then they would have proved them. So I think, yeah, let them continue doing remakes and make sure they can retell the story in a much better version.
Yeah. I mean, I sort of agree, but like I just feel like they're overdoing it. Like it's tiring at this point. It's like one remake after the other. And some of them were okay, like Aladdin, and some of them were just unwatchable, like The Lion King. And I know loads of people like The Lion King one, but I couldn't. And I don't mind if they do some remakes, but it isn't necessary to do so many, which is the issue because it's like five per year or even more, like sometimes. And I think if they're going to do remakes, it needs to be something unique. And some of them are, like Aladdin, they made a couple of changes. Like we got to see a bit more of the genie in a sense that, he had a happy ever after as well. And I think what Disney needs to do is focus on original ideas. And I feel like that is where they've gone wrong. They've completely sort of just started basing Disney on just doing remakes of stuff that already worked or might have just been okay or something like that. And I think they need to do something more exciting, more interesting, some sort of new Disney content. Because, I feel like this is like one of the points that we sort of mentioned on like our what's missing from Disney sort of video. And is what we wanted to see from Disney. We want to see more original ideas like Elemental and Wish. Like I'm really excited for Wish because I feel like just reading what it was about, it just sounded so amazing. But if I was reading, let's say, the plot of The Lion King, I'm like, oh, okay, well, I sort of knew that already. There's nothing exciting, and I think that's sort of one of the reasons why I'm not so excited for the Little Mermaid 2, which is coming up, or even Snow White. Is it just called Snow White? I don't know. Anyway, Snow White, and I mean, I'm not a Peter Pan and Wendy fan. Haunted Mansion, like that doesn't even look good. But what I'm trying to say is that all of these remakes, they're not making me feel interested at all. I'm just like, okay, yeah, that's the next Disney movie coming out. Cool. I'll just watch it maybe if it interests me. So in terms of live actions, like whilst they're good, I think for me, Disney is like just known as for creating animated movies. Like that's their roots. They started off creating animated movies, and this change to just doing these live action remakes, it's sort of just become sort of more of a sole focus. And I think they need to just take it back, creating those animations. And again, 2D animation, bring that back. That'd be amazing. And I don't mind some of the live action. Like I said already with Aladdin, but also I feel like they need to focus on something like what they were doing with Maleficent and Cruella. Like those were absolutely amazing because they were sort of based on the stories that we were familiar with, but they were totally new as well, like Maleficent. Like she really stood out in that movie, and I can literally just watch that movie again and again because it was amazing. So I think that's what we need. I don't think the problem is that they're doing the remakes. I think it's the fact that they're doing so many. It just feels like that's all we're seeing. And so they need to like do like maybe one or two, maybe just one a year. Start off with one and quality ones, like Grace said. Quality
Yeah.
one. Yeah, that's why I said they should stop doing so many live action remakes.
Yeah. I do agree with you, like what we said in the video about like we need more animation films, and I agree. But the reason I think they shouldn't stop, and you mentioned this about live action adaptations, is by combining live action remakes with original stories. So like Maleficent or like Cruella, if for example we get to see her background, it's more of a different view on 101 Dalmatians. And also like Alice in Wonderland or Christopher Robin. So it's not actually following the original story, but we get to see the same story continue on, and like off what happens to the main protagonist after their story. So yeah, I do agree, but I think for remakes, I think remakes are like second chances in a way. So like take Peter Pan for example. Like if you've seen the original when you were a child, then like you probably loved it, and when you see it now, you kind of see, oh my god, I can't believe that happened. Like there was a racism in there about Native Americans. There was sexism in there, and so if they're gonna do a remake on that, they're gonna try to like re rebuild all that damage and create it better, and like show a bit more appreciation to like different cultures and different genders. So I think that's pretty good. And we've seen that in the trailer about like Peter Pan and Wendy. So they share the title, they share the same story. So I think this is a good chance for them to just update their story. And it's good that they're actually retelling the story again to younger kids, so they won't forget the story. So I think that's pretty good. And like the Little Mermaid as well, I agree. I think it was a masterpiece. I could never imagine being a remake. But seeing the trailer now, I think, oh my god, that's amazing. And they're bringing a whole new version of like CGI underwater, like Aquaman, and it looks amazing, looks beautiful. We get to see the sea world in a different way. So I think again, it's not just like recreating a story, it's about retelling it, maybe in a different version, but in a better way to tell people and to be remembered and inspired.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, the point about Peter Pan, even though I haven't watched it, I've heard, stuff about it and I've heard about that. And yeah, I think that's a good way of them redeeming it. My issue is simply that there's so many. They need to just stop doing so many remakes. That's my issue with it. But yeah, no, that's a really good point because there's a lot of things that they can sort of change and make it better.
Yeah, I would say, but I don't want to say the
Yeah,
original wasn't great. I mean,
yeah,
it was like again, they were masterpiece. They were
yeah,
the classics, but there were some little bits in there that you wouldn't agree in the modern world right now.
yeah,
So
yeah. Redeem it, I think is the best way of
yeah.
putting it. Yeah.
Mm. And yeah, I mean that's sort of done all of my points. You
Yeah.
got any more,
So it's up to Ellie.
Ellie?
Oh, okay. So I feel like you guys have come to the same conclusion, and that's that they should do them, but it should be less and it should be more organized and more well done, which I completely agree. I think, like you said, like Aladdin is a masterpiece. I absolutely love that remake. One of my all-time favorites, the music, all of it, the storyline. And they only made a couple of adjustments and they made it its own. It didn't completely change the storyline, it just changed the outlook, which I feel like can be done with all the other remakes as well. Like Lion King was quite literally frame from frame the
Yeah.
exact same, and it just lost its uniqueness, it's lost its storyline, it lost everything. But with Aladdin, they made it so much better. So if they done that with all the new remakes. Like I feel like The Little Mermaid that's coming out now could have the same purpose and storyline as Aladdin did.
Yeah.
There's still time for that to have like a slightly different change that still makes it unique in its own, rather than it being copy and paste, just live action. As long as they're
Yeah.
doing that and they're dialing it back a little bit, rather than, like you said, Emily, like having 5 year, give us 1 or 2, and then people can actually appreciate the movie for what it is, rather than thinking, oh, this one's coming out, oh, this one's coming out as well, oh, another one, really, guys? Like, balance it out between original Disney movies that we used to have, and if you want to do remakes, have a good balance between the two, rather than 5 of one and nothing on the other hand. So yeah, that's where I stand.
Yeah, so I think that kind of concludes. You guys all have like the same sort of like conclusion, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
we met.
For once.
We all-
Woohoo.
What?
I'm joking, no. Well, that's it then. That's it. All let us know in the comments what you guys think. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and let us know if you want to see other Disney or Marvel or any other debates as well. And yeah, see you guys soon.
Bye.